Frimpong and felt the contact. He made it appear that he was dragged down. Jeremy Frimpong pleads his case, but the referee not interested in listening. Bayern Munich also taking on Atalanta this evening in the other round of 16 tie tonight. They've virtually booked their place in the quarter-finals already. Bayern Munich 6-1 winners in the first leg in Bergamo. It's been a rough couple of weeks for English sides in Europe's premier competition. Manchester City dumped out by Red. 2-1 winners on the night at the Etihad Stadium last evening. Difficult evening for Pep Guardiola. And PSG as well, as we already mentioned, the introduction through at the expense of Chelsea, who were dismantled by the holders over two legs. Long ball forward, pumped downfield. Salah takes it down. They've just got in each other's way. Mario Lemina, it was, with a late run on the edge of the penalty area. Beautiful touch from the Brazilian. Salah. Here's Van Dijk on the corner of the penalty area. Lofts it left-footed down the left-hand side. And here is Ekitike tussling with Singo. Both go to ground simultaneously as they enter the penalty area. Singo did just about enough. Ekitike back heel. Here's Wirtz on the edge of the box. Three around him in white. And they smuggled it away. Gravenberch. Van Dijk. McAllister. Fast-paced start to this one. That's intercepted by Yilmaz, one of three Turkish players in the Galatasaray side, along with the goalkeeper. Bardakci is the one with the captain's armband on this evening. And Shakir, the goalkeeper. No English representatives in the starting 11 this evening for Liverpool, but there are some on the bench. Freddie Woodman, the goalkeeper. Joe Gomez, Curtis Jones, Trainioni, they're familiar names. Rio Gamoa has caught the eye this season, the young man. And Kieran Morrison is a slightly more unknown player, as is Amaro Nalo. It's a problem here, it looks like, for Victor Osimhen, who's down inside the Galatasaray half of the pitch. Just bumped into Ibrahima around the Nigerian. Still counted amongst one of Europe's elites in terms of centre forwards. This season, no one comes close to the record of Harry Kane, of course, but it looks like it's a problem for Victor Osimhen's rib as he stays down. The Galatasaray medical team are on. In fact, he's holding onto his forearm here. It was an awkward tumble from the big Nigerian, sporting that face mask that protects a historic facial injury. Interesting to see around Anfield. Inside the Arkle pub, a famous watering hole in these parts. We saw some of those masks being sold on a night where there are no away fans, officially, you might say. Now, if Victor Osimhen can't carry on, this will prove to be a real problem. He's getting back to his feet and he's angry with the referee here, giving him a piece of his mind. Virgil van Dijk too will just pass on his opinion of the Nigerian. Suddenly, Victor Osimhen's back on his feet and looking pretty peeved. And they're having to be separated, the two men. Virgil van Dijk in his role as Liverpool captain. Credit here to the Galatasaray skipper, Abdul Karim Bardakci, who's just imploring Victor Osimhen to calm down. It's got the crowd on its feet. We don't need much to get this Anfield crowd up and going, especially on a European evening. It's goalless in the other two ties. Tottenham at the base of a real mountain they need to climb tonight. A 5-2 aggregate, the score after the first leg of the Wanda Metropolitana. Galatasaray temporarily down to 10 at the moment as Victor Osimhen's off the pitch after receiving treatment. That's a ball clipped down the right-hand side. Frimpong sets off after it. Salah's going to get there first and make sure Frimpong will receive the ball. Laid off to Szoboszlai, pulling wide to that right-hand side. Now here's Alexis McAllister, square to Virgil van Dijk. McAllister trying to side his way to the Galatasaray midfield. Finds Gravenberg, right corner of the penalty area. McAllister again. Szoboszlai. Van Dijk onto Florian Wirtz, shifted onto his right foot. The cross is blocked. Drops to Salah. Torreira was in the way initially. Wirtz keeps it alive. Ekitike can't keep it. Here is Torreira again, juggling under pressure. Tries to get his toe to the ball again. Torreira. Ekitike takes it away. Low drive. But all the sting taken out of it initially. And it's in the gloves of the goalkeeper. Well, there are boos around Anfield for Victor Osimhen as he takes his place back on the pitch. It's going to be one of those evenings you suspect. Specific theatre of the mind tonight, isn't there? Fueled by that carnage last night. The English slaughter in the Champions League. They've been so dominant, English sides, in this tournament of late. It's almost a bit of a shock to see them crumbling. Often such disparaging comments made to some of the other leagues across Europe. Liga, this league, the Turkish league, the German league, of course, often referred to as farmers' leagues, but what we've seen so far has been quite remarkable. And at the end, for Arsenal, it was relatively straightforward against Leverkusen at the Emirates, but it wasn't in the first leg. A 1-1 draw. They felt a little bit aggrieved after that one, Leverkusen. It is Arsenal that progressed. They are the favourites to go all the way to the final and lift the trophy. Talk of the quadruple has been banned at the club's London Colney training ground by Mikel Arteta. They're still fighting on all four fronts. And it's looking likely that they'll lift the Premier League title for the first time in, what, 22 years or so. A beautiful touch from Lucas Torreira. It's Erlen Shalai that takes it, sliding in there, McAllister. Torreira gets it up in the air. It's nodded down by Lemina, wearing the number 99 on his back. Lemina with the header forward, looking for Sarah. That's an awkward little hop from Ryan Gravenberg, who came down awkwardly. There's another body down on the far side. Liverpool try and break. I think it's Victor Osimhen down. Might be Jacobs, in fact. He was the man who played the cross in for Mario Lemina. The Senegalese Ismail Jacobs down, clutching the back of his head, and the referee comes across. That's been a late change, I believe, to the man with the whistle. Actually, Pavel Rashkovsky, excuse me, who's taken the place of Szymon Marciniak. Now we'll try and figure out just what happened to Szymon Marciniak before kick-off tonight. Mario Lemina back to his feet. Pavel Rashkovsky is going to restart the game from the feet of the goalkeeper, Shakir. He drops it to Wilfried Singo. It's cleared away by Ugo-Chan. Shakir out towards the left-hand side where Yilmaz wins a header. But Szoboszlai picks up the loose ball here at the base of midfield, just outside the centre circle. Lemina is waved back on. Van Dijk over the top, down the left-hand side. Here's Milos Kerkez. Met by Sacha Boey. Inside to Florian Wirtz. In midfield is Szoboszlai now. That's given away. Torreira. Sara. He's been picked off by Ryan Gravenberch, and that's good work from Kerkez, nipping in to make sure that Salah can't take over. Frimpong on the right-hand side. Back to Konate. A long diagonal over the top for Ekitike. It's a heavy touch. Sacha Boey got back and nodded it behind. The referee blows the whistle, though, says that was a foul by Hugo Ekitike. It's a clever ball from Ibrahima Konate. Just over the top of the Frenchman, Sacha Boey. Tries to flick it past the fullback, does Hugo Ekitike. Just stretched out that he tried to put out of a challenge, but he didn't catch him. It's frustration from Arne Slot, quite obvious. The last time Liverpool won the first leg of a knockout game in this tournament was back in 1976. 1-0 defeat that time, and then the second leg, well, they made short work of it. And that year, they went on to lift the trophy. How many times have you seen that from Liverpool? Memories of that famous 2005 win in Istanbul, where they were off the pace in the Premier League for the majority of the season, and off the pace of the game as well. Sacha Boey tried to keep that in play, unable to do so. That first leg loss was against Trabzonspor. The headlines in the Turkish press, as we already said, has been about the potential bonus. It's down the outside. Here's Frimpong. Pull back. Florian Wirtz tries to weave his way through. The clip back towards Ekitike off his shoulder. Nodded away by Singo. Torreira had to get there first. And he sweeps it away for Liverpool, thrown on the right-hand side. The decibel level just creeps up a little bit more. Here's Konate on the halfway line for Liverpool. That's down the right-hand side for Frimpong. Steers it forward, tries the return ball, does Alexis McAllister. In fact, it was Milos Kerkez. Victor Osimhen on his haunches in the centre circle as Liverpool play on here with Milos Kerkez. It's not moving well, Victor Osimhen. Just strolling around out there at the moment. They need him. Galatasaray, I think he might have broken something here after that awkward fall. Gravenberch gets it back from Salah. Now Wirtz, bit of space in the penalty area. That's quickly closed down by Bardakci. That's cute from Torreira, just to cushion it back to his goalkeeper when it looked like his side were under pressure. He's not looking comfortable. They do have options on the bench. Galatasaray, if they are forced to withdraw the Nigerian international. Not least Mauro Icardi, who's a canny operator at this level. That's flicked on by Yilmaz. Osimhen, Salah chasing. Alisson, his compatriot, will get it away. Ekitike with another little knockdown to Florian Wirtz. On the outside now is Ekitike, met by Singo, corner of the penalty area. He'll step inside. Ekitike finds McAllister. Could have Szoboszlai on the edge of the box. Frimpong towards the near post. It was looking for Salah. And it's away by Bardakci. Lucas Torreira is writhing around. He seems to suggest that he turned his ankle under that challenge. Let's have a little look at the replay. Yeah, he's just stepped on him there. Alexis McAllister as he gets the ball away. The difficulty for the referee this evening, a reminder, that's Pavel Rashkovsky rather than Szymon Marciniak, who was listed. VAR, Marco Di Bello as well. So a couple of changes to the officials, to the announced Victor Osimhen has taken this opportunity as Lucas Torreira has gone down to come across and speak to his manager. You can understand Okan Buruk looking a little bit concerned. His most potent attacking weapon, who's currently been held back by this ongoing problem he's picked up in the opening stages. This pause to proceedings has given us the chance to just highlight 20 minutes on the clock and the scarves, flags and images of Diogo Jota with 20 minutes played. His squad number before that unfortunate, untimely passing in the summer. There's not a game goes by here at Anfield that they don't mark him and pay tribute to the former Portuguese international. It's a moving moment. Here's Florian Wirtz. Liverpool, edge of the penalty area, tries to test the goalkeeper from range, and that's over the crossbar and into the Anfield Road end. Increased capacity here, 61,000 odd nowadays. Never really needed the added capacity to generate an atmosphere. He's still feeling at that arm though, Victor Osimhen. That right arm is strapped up by the medical team. It's a clever ball from the goalkeeper. It's a poor layoff from Osimhen. Szoboszlai got his touch just caught in the turf, and Lamina can play it wide to Boy. Back to Singo. Tries to step away from Ekitike. Clipped up towards where they'd expect to see Victor Osimhen. He's holding that arm awkwardly. Bardakci. Salah on the left-hand side. Back to the middle for Torreira. Looking for Yilmaz. That is Alper Yilmaz, the Turkish international. Just caught in his heels, and it trundles out of play for a throw-in. 22 minutes gone. Still goalless in the other two ties. That suits both Bayern Munich and Atletico Madrid. This is the game with a lot riding on it more. Atletico and Bayern Munich, the overwhelming. Sizable cushion. Lamina, who scored the goal that's given Galatasaray hopes of Champions League quarter-final football. Towards Ekitike. Picked it up on the left-hand side. Shuffles it onto his right boot. Now sprays that out to the right-hand side where Frimpong is arriving. Salah. Gravenberch. Salah. Crossed Virgil van Dijk, who was his arms stretched out wide. McAllister. Szoboszlai. Wirtz. Frimpong. Low. Salah couldn't sort his feet out. It was intricate for Liverpool, but they couldn't quite open up a shooting opportunity for Mohamed Salah. But it's all Liverpool in the opening stages. This time Florian Wirtz from the left-hand side clips one across the penalty area. Bounced out to him after McAllister took it on from just outside the edge of the penalty area. There was a deflection on the Wirtz effort as well. So Liverpool will have the corner and a chance for Konate and Virgil van Dijk to get forward. Bobby McAllister to deliver. It's low towards the edge of the box. Szoboszlai! Left-footed, plants it past the goalkeeper. It's the goal Liverpool were looking. It's the goal that gives parity back to Liverpool here on Merseyside. No one picked up Dominic Szoboszlai, and he arrows it through bodies. A start of intensity, of emphasis, of intent from Liverpool. And it's been rewarded. Liverpool 1, Galatasaray 1. We're back where we started last week before kick-off in Istanbul. He's an expert from that kind of position. It's brilliant from Dominic Szoboszlai. Just slices across the back of the ball to help it fade away from Uğurcan Çakır. The moment he made contact, he wheels away in celebration before it even beats the goalkeeper. Well, we've got a game on our hands now. Changing the scoreline elsewhere. Bayern Munich have taken the lead against Atalanta. Or have they? They have. It's Harry Kane from the penalty spot. Looks like a block from Scalvini, adjudged to be a handball by VAR. Kept his cool, Dominic Szoboszlai. What a finish it is. Now Liverpool, overwhelming favourites, you think, after this start, to go on to face Paris Saint-Germain in the next round, but, and it's a big but, they have work to do this evening. The scarves are waving, Anfield is pumping. Singo's gone to ground, holding his chest. So clever from Alexis McAllister to pick out Dominic Szoboszlai. He was just lurking on the edge of the D. It was a half-hearted attempt from Yilmaz to try and get in the way. Might break through to Salah, Flagger stayed down. Oh, what a save that is from Çakır. Stretched out a big left hand. Galatasaray caught napping as Mohamed Salah drifted off the back of his man. Oh, he stood his ground brilliantly there. He's able to hold on to it as well. Uğurcan Çakır. What a chance that would have been to take charge of the tie for Liverpool. You would have put your house on Mo Salah. It was a header back from Bardakci, trying to sort out an awkward clearance from Singo. Here's Kerkez on the left-hand side. Galatasaray can't get a sniff of the ball. Van Dijk. Back to Alisson. Well, they've successfully overturned a first leg away deficit in 14 of their previous UEFA ties, be that in the Champions League or Europa League. Liverpool currently they're battling for Conference League football in the Premier League. Here's Ekitike on the turn though, driving forward. Salah starting to make his run. Ekitike holding on to it, still Ekitike, tried to go alone. He just got in his way on the edge of the box. Jakobs and Bardakci combining. And here comes Yilmaz down the left-hand side. Konate with a hand on the shoulder. And Yilmaz wants a free kick. The referee shakes his head as Liverpool are allowed to play that away from the edge of their box. He's not happy with the referee there. He's had a very busy opening half an hour. The man standing in for Szymon Marciniak. Down the right-hand side it goes, looking for Frimpong. That's how to play for a Galatasaray throw-in. Clever from Singo in the end, just a few moments ago to deny Ekitike a path to the ball. Ekatike all the way into the penalty area. Cleared away by Lemina. It's over the crossbar. Huge chance for Florian Wirtz. From 7 yards. He's missed it. It was scrappy, messy, bobbling around in there. Caught it cleanly, but it just popped up in front of him. It flicked off a Galatasaray body on the way over, which means it's another corner. Lightning strike twice. Salah, this one high towards the back post. There's Van Dijk, back over the face of goal! Oh, McAllister off the crossbar! From basically on the goal line. McAllister not happy. The referee's just he's just backed into the goalkeeper there, Alexis McAllister. It's a good spot from the referee. He's not going to get away with that in the Champions League. He's given a free kick. It's a good header back across the face by Liverpool skipper Virgil van Dijk. All action, all Liverpool action in this first half. Sacha Boey has Florian Wirtz bearing down on him from behind. They've only lost once against Turkish opposition here at Anfield. Liverpool, that was back in the league phase against this side in September. But their record in Europe is pretty good. Yeah, it's set to the box. Szoboszlai! Brilliant save from Shakir. That one would have been spectacular from Dominik Szoboszlai. Running the game at the moment. He's pinged that from range. Again, lets it fade across his boot, slicing into the top corner. Shakir can watch it all the way and pushes it away with two big hands. Now Kierke's driving forward. Galatasaray hurriedly preparing a change. Looks like Mauro Icardi's going to be coming on. That can only be for Victor Osimhen. Van Dijk. Gravenberg. Kierke's. Szoboszlai. Ekatike can't keep it in play on this near side, despite his best attempts to juggle. Oh, he's cutting a bit of a dejected figure here, Victor Osimhen. There's Noah Lang. He's going to be coming on shortly, the Dutchman. Joined them in January. 6 goals. No goals in 6 games in the Super League. He's already made his mark in this tournament. Yilmaz. And it's Jakob. He wins the corner off Szoboszlai. Haven't really managed to get forward, Galatasaray. They will hear from the set piece. Liverpool need to be careful. Well, they've dominated the game. They did in Istanbul as well. It's going to come in from that left-hand side. Towards the near post, that's away by Kierke's. Now Yilmaz. Frimpong snapping at his heels and toe pokes it all the way back to Shakir, the goalkeeper. Galatasaray's best player so far. Up towards Victor Osimhen, who won't challenge with Virgil van Dijk. That header is up towards the halfway line. Sacha Boey caught by an errant arm from Florian Wirtz, and in the process wins the free kick. Forward by Torreira towards Osimhen, allowed to take it down in the penalty area. Touch takes him wide though, and the layoff to Yilmaz won't find him. Picked off. Here's Szoboszlai, tried to just squeeze it past Bardakci, and he got in the way. Well, less than 10 minutes remaining, can you believe? This is a tough decision, isn't it, for Okan Buruk? Still moving awkwardly with that arm just out by his side. Here's Van Dijk, Konate. Yeah, confirmation now just coming through to us that Juma Marciniak been replaced by the fourth official, Pavel Wachowski, because of an injury in the warm-up. It was deemed that he was unable to carry out his duties. The ball will be a Galatasaray one from a goal kick. Bardakci takes. Ekitike, clever little back heel, finds McAllister. Now here's Gravenberch, trying to pivot away from Torreira. McAllister, off balance, stumbles away from the challenges though. Can only find Jakobs, now Yilmaz. Szoboszlai sliding in, he's everywhere at the moment, the Hungarian. Alisson. Long towards Ekitike. Singo's header goes backwards. Boey forwards. Wirtz can't find Kerkez. Here's Roland. Shalai does well. Sliding in late. He arrived late, Kerkez, and he caught Shalai. Will be a free kick right in front of the dugouts. Despite Kerkez. International colleagues, no love lost tonight though. He just catches him with a trailing leg. Slot might well protest, but just right in front of him. You can see why he doesn't agree with the referee's decision. You can also understand why he's made that decision. Pavel Wachowski just bounced off of him. Advantage though to Galatasaray. Here's Lamina. Edge of the box, Sara. McAllister holding him at bay. He keeps getting in the way of the referee. He's done well though, Torreira, to keep it alive. Yilmaz, left-hand side. Chops onto his right, towards the back post. There's Osimhen stretching. Can't turn his shot on target. Rose well, got his head to the ball, Victor Osimhen. The first time he's really challenged for a ball. I think he wanted it a little bit earlier. Torreira. When he put his captain in real danger, Bardakci, who's taken on for the team in the process, absolutely clattered by Lucas Torreira as he got the ball clear for a Liverpool throw-in. Wirtz, Kerkez. Szoboszlai down the outside, won't reach Frimpong. Jakobs is across. Gravenberch, one of three Liverpool players who will miss the quarter-final if they are booked this evening. Curtis Jones is one of them. He's on the bench tonight. The other very big player for them, Virgil van Dijk, if he is booked this evening, will not play a part against Paris Saint-Germain should they make it through to the quarters. Here's Victor Osimhen with the flick on, looking for Salah. Canate in the way, will bounce to Szoboszlai out on that right-hand side. Frimpong has space on the right if they can find him. It's on the corner. They were Bardakci last, and Salah strolling down that right-hand side to take charge of it. Well, Tottenham have reduced their substantial deficit to Atletico Madrid. A goal from Randall Kolo Umawani on the half-hour mark. Salah's ball again towards the back post. Virgil van Dijk underneath it, can only head it up in the air. Goalkeeper flapped at it a little. Again, it was Alexis McAllister, I believe, who was closest to him, and he's going to be on the receiving end of a little bit of a talking to from the referee. I think he was trying to duck out of the way rather than back into him. Clumsy little from Alexis McAllister. Yeah, back to that Tottenham goal. Randall Kolo Muani has made it 5-3 on aggregate. Kicked out by Matthijs Tel from the right-hand side, nodded it into the bottom left corner. His fourth Champions League goal of the campaign, Kolo Muani. It's off Canate's back, drops to Yilmaz. There's Szoboszlai. Inside to McAllister, forward to Ekitike, near the halfway line, right-hand side. Little back heel. Finds Dominic Szoboszlai with his head up, looking for options. Speared cross field. Here's Kerkez now. Snapping back Roland Shalai to dispossess his fellow Hungary international. Ekitike. Back to Canate. Time on the ball here for the French international. Salah, half turn into the penalty area, tried to roll his man. Jakobs just well to improvise the clearance. Ekitike bounced off Lamina. Here he is on the edge of the penalty area. Just buys himself a bit of space before laying it off to Van Dijk. Szoboszlai, Ekitike, Szoboszlai, McAllister. Doesn't open up for him, so it's wide again to Florian Wirtz. Right-footed cross from the left-hand side. Jakobs was stooping, gets it clear. Lamina from the edge of the penalty area. Now Salah jumping with Kerkez. Wirtz picks up the loose ball on the left. Inside to Szoboszlai. Finds McAllister. Now Kerkez. Wirtz stepping in field, away from Sacha Boey. Trying to tug at his arm boy. Liverpool with the advantage. Szoboszlai finds Frimpong. Yilmaz regains possession. Swung away down the left-hand side. Victor Osimhen's not going to get on the end of that. In fact, it's Virgil van Dijk that mops it up for Liverpool. Into the final minutes of the first half, plus whatever the referee decides to add on. McAllister. Kerkez deep towards the back post, bounces in front of Frimpong, takes it down, half volley cross into the penalty area. It was away by Bardakci, and Szoboszlai with the effort from range drops to Frimpong again. This time the cross will find Salah, just couldn't quite adjust in time. It's off his left boot, now to play for a goal kick. Liverpool all over Galatasaray in this first half. It's now 12 shots, I make it. For Arne Slot's team. Liverpool fans won't want this half to end. Galatasaray need to get back to the dressing room and reset, and they've got 5 minutes of added time to try and navigate Van Dijk with another towering header flicked on by Szoboszlai. Singo first to it in front of Ekitike. Shaqiri just took his eye off the ball. Floated out to the left-hand side for the retreating Jakobs, closed down by Szoboszlai, and once again Balakshi had to rescue the situation for Galatasaray. Yilmaz being tugged, and Frimpong is penalised. Early ball, too quick, too hasty. And Dijk can chest it down and find McAllister in midfield, and Wirtz not quite on the same wavelength with Ekitike. Swept away by Shaqiri. Not quite as many chances as they've had earlier on, Liverpool, but still just clinging on there. Galatasaray to this position of parity. Something has to change for them, though, you suspect, if they are to continue to hold hopes of reaching the quarter-final stages. By Kerkez. Ekitike swept cross-field. Frimpong has to just scamper a little bit wider than he'd hoped, but he will keep it in play. And maybe a crossing opportunity. Pull back to the edge of the box, looking for Szoboszlai. Yilmaz pokes it away. Jakobs got a toe to the ball, did he? The referee certainly thinks so, and he's taking himself some time to think, and now points to the penalty spot. Big decision from the stand-in referee, Pavel Rashkovsky. Let's have a little look at the replay. I'm not sure there's enough in that. He might make contact. Let's see. Swipes the boot to the ball. For me, Szoboszlai's already on the way over. VAR tonight, Marco Di Bello. I'm not sure he's going to change the referee's decision here, or we've seen a few of those in the tournament so far. The penalty that saw Arsenal equalise away at Leverkusen last week was a tenuous one at best. No, there's definitely contact here, and it's clumsy from Jakobs. But for my money, Dominik Szoboszlai on the way down already. And the fact there's contact means that the referee's decision will stand. On the balance, it probably is the correct choice. Mohamed Salah with the chance to bring up 50 European goals. He's been at his best for Gurcan Shaqiri so far this evening. Can he prevent Liverpool from taking the lead in the tie? Salah, oh, it's saved by the goalkeeper. Pretty poor penalty by Salah's standards. It's off his knees in the end, Shaqiri. Huge moment in the game. Tried to just stroke it down the middle. Mohamed Salah hasn't caught it well, and the goalkeeper can almost kick it away. Gurcan Shaqiri. We've got a real tie on our hands now. 1 minute of added time remaining. Liverpool have rattled the woodwork, missed a penalty. They've got the equaliser in terms of aggregate that they were looking for. They lead on the night. Not quite enough. Singo's ball will go backwards. Boy to Shaqiri. What a hero he's been for Galatasaray already. Singo with the header on. Stooping is Van Dijk. McAllister picks it up. Bullied off the ball by Lemina. Sara, now Yilmaz with ground down the left-hand side to run into. Yilmaz. Shalai has to hurry. McAllister got back quickly. Now here's Jakobs. The cross. Salah with the header. An effort on target from Galatasaray. Simple save at the end for Alisson. But they do pose a threat this evening. Awkward one for Roland Shalai. Would have been quite the finish if he managed to turn it in from that angle. Here's Wirtz from the edge of the penalty area. He's looking for the shooting opportunity. Veer, it's down the outside. Salah, a good save from Shakir on the follow-up, a second. Veer, it's denied. Jaboslai, McAllister, Gravenberg from range. And that's off Florian Wirtz. Tucks back to the goalkeeper, Shakir. And the referee brings a breathless first half to an end. Liverpool have the goal through Dominic Szoboszlai that they needed to restore parity in the tie. A lovely work corner kick. Galatasaray have barely been able to touch the ball this evening. Victor Osimhen went down early with what seems to be a forearm injury. It's been hampering him ever since. He's in conversation with the Galatasaray medical team as they make their way off the pitch. They've got a decision to make about the big Nigerian in the dressing room in this 15-minute interval. They've rattled the woodwork, they've come ever so close to Mohamed Salah and his penalty save by Galatasaray's man of the match so far, Uğurcan Çakır, who proved his worth in the last knocking to the half there with a double save to deny Salah and Florian Wirtz. The momentum has been with Liverpool, but you never know what can happen in the Champions League. It's half-time in this second leg. 45 minutes remaining of the tie. It's Liverpool 1, Galatasaray 0. Well, aggregate, it's all square. Join us in 15 minutes' time for the second half live. for the reason that they are still delicately poised on Merseyside. Uğurcan Çakır saving a Mohamed Salah penalty, amongst others. Some spectacular saves, some point-blank saves, a double save just at the end of half-time for the first half to give Galatasaray hope. It was a first half marked from a Galatasaray perspective by an injury to Victor Osimhen that he tried to soldier through, but I'll tell you at the start of this second half, he hasn't emerged from the dugout, the changing rooms, I should say, and he's been replaced at half-time. Leroy Sané replaces the man who scored 7 goals in the Champions League this season, as well as Noah Lang on for Sacha Boey. Maybe a change of emphasis now for Galatasaray, and it might work out here for Yilmaz, who's bursting down the left-hand side. Konate trying to track him, looking towards the middle for Leroy Sané, and it's Milos Kerkez who gets in the way and does his defensive duties really well there, Kerkez. Because that would have been a good chance for Galatasaray, and a reminder for Liverpool, a timely one, that there's still just 1 goal in it, and the spectre of extra time and potentially penalties, despite their dominance, both with the ball and territory. Galatasaray only 1 chance to nose ahead. It's nodded down. We might see a change of shape now this evening. Jakobs on the left-hand side. So Galatasaray with those 2 changes will run you through the lineups the next time the ball goes out of play, but it will be with Yilmaz here, who steers one down the left-hand side. Lang trying to get on the end of it. He's got there before Frimpong, who tries to shrug him off the ball, but unsuccessfully. Lang to Torreira. Singo. Well, looks to me like the manager, Hakan Bulut, has identified that his side need to show something going forward. Already have, but here's Ekitike in the opposite penalty area, saved at the near post by Çakır. A big strong hand pokes it up in the air and it drops kindly into his gloves. Hasn't seen too many chances, Ekitike. That one would have been a tight finish. He had Bardakci all over him, and Ekitike's won it back, but not for long. There's Torreira. It's neat with Sara. Now Torreira backwards. Bardakci. Çakır on the edge of his own penalty area. Looks like they've changed to a back 3 now at Galatasaray. Çakır forward, backheel by Lang. Well, Çakır in goal for Galatasaray. Jakobs, Bardakci, Singo. Boy who started, replaced by Noah Lang here, who's trying to get forward, and that's a nice turn from Yilmaz, but Konate just too strong for him. Yilmaz just to have fouled the Frenchman. And Lemina and Torreira, the double pivot in midfield. Yilmaz, Sara and Shalai. Joined by Leroy Sané in the place of Victor Osimhen. Looks like Sara it is who's gone into that central role. For Liverpool, Alisson returns in goal. Back 4 of Frimpong, Konate, the captain, Van Dijk and Kerkez. Gravenberch and McAllister, whose corner was swept home by Dominic Szoboszlai, and Florian Wirtz, who's in an advanced position. This is through to Salah. The keeper's come out and done well, smothered the effort for another tight angle. Brilliant evening for Uğurcan Çakır already. Salah and Ekitike almost operating as a front 2. That's clever from Hugo Ekitike. A little reverse pass behind Bardakci. Yilmaz battling with Konate, shrugged off of it by the Liverpool number 5. Torreira stepping in to sweep it back after Singo poked it away from Ekitike. Çakır to the right-hand side. It's good strength. Here's Leroy Sané. And now Jakobs getting forward. For Noah Lang, tries to return that to Jakobs. Frimpong can just see that out of play for a goal kick. In fact, a foul from Jakobs means it will be a free kick for Liverpool. How about this for the statistic? 16 attempts from Liverpool, 9 shots on target. Those numbers bolstered in the past 5 minutes by Ekitike and Salah's efforts. It's one of those games where it has a feel that Liverpool could run away with it, but their luck so far has not necessarily been in this evening. The crossbar above Alisson's head is almost still wobbling after McAllister's header. Here is McAllister, finds Salah, right-hand side of the penalty area, across to Ekitike! This time Shaqiri can't keep it out, and Liverpool take control of the tie. It's Hugo Ekitike. Set up by Salah. They've started this second half just as brightly as they played the majority of that first 45. And it's paid dividends. And now daylight between them and Galatasaray. He had a great chance against Tottenham late on to win it at the weekend, which he spurned, but this time Hugo Ekitike makes no mistake. It was on a plate for him by Mohamed Salah. He's onside as well, Salah, running off the back of Bardakci. Inch perfect pass from McAllister. And then Roland Salah, who I think has been drafted in as a fullback, can't catch up with him. Shaqiri has been performing heroics. Can't prevent that from nestling in the back of the net. Tried to spread himself, the goalkeeper. But Liverpool take the lead. And it's a deserved goal on the balance of play. Virgil van Dijk wants more from his team. I don't want to let the intensity slip. Ekitike for Van Dijk in the centre circle. That makes it 2-1 on aggregate. There's Salah with the volley, and the follow-up from Gravenberch is wide. Oh no, it's nestled in the back of the net, has it? It has! It just bounced straight out of the goal immediately. A third for Liverpool. An optical illusion, but no questioning the finish from Ryan Gravenberch. Salah denied initially by Shaqiri, who was left helpless as Gravenberch rattled it home on the follow-up. It all started with Gravenberch, found McAllister. Then Wirtz to Salah, who's onside. It just skipped off the turf in front of him. Caught the volley well. Gravenberch rushed onto it. It's an awkward one in the end. Bounced off the turf. Maybe even takes a little nick off Salah on the way through. And it loops away out of Shaqiri's reach, who's rooted to the spot. He's beaten again. Less than 2 minutes after Hugo Ekitike gave Liverpool the lead in the tie. The cushion is now 2 goals, and it's turning into one of those Anfield evenings. It's nothing more than Liverpool deserve on the balance of play tonight. Liverpool's expected goals, the XG, that controversial metric, well, 3.01. 20 shots now, and Salah looks to burst away. Clinches, Salah, nice first touch. It's poked away from him by the retreating Jakobs. And cleared by Bardakci. Jakobs just caught a blow to his nose in the process, doing his best to try and keep it within reach for Galatasaray. But Liverpool are up for this, and Szoboszlai, they're hunting even more. Can't find Wirtz. Here's Lang. Sane rises, flicks it on above Clinches. There's Virgil van Dijk to steer it out to the left for Hugo Ekitike. Gravenberch. Szoboszlai. Wirtz on the edge of the penalty area. Down the outside for Frimpong. Low across the face of goal. No goal. Singo. Got in a tangle. A fourth on the night for Liverpool. And surely now they're heading through to the quarter-finals. 5 minutes of madness, and it's got away from Galatasaray. Jeremy Frimpong. It might be pulled back for offside. On first look, it looks like Frimpong's just got a little bit too soon. And Wilfried Singo's blushes will be spared. But they were queuing up in the penalty area to tap it home. He's just poked at it with his wrong foot there. Wilfried Singo comes off the left, and it's not a bad finish in the end from the centre-back. And confirmation from the stand-in referee that the goal will not stand. 4 offside on Jeremy Frimpong. Anfield have just hit fever pitch, so take it out a little notch, but it's all going swimmingly for them. Bardakci gives it away. Szoboszlai to Salah. Held up by Bardakci. Good strength from the Turkish international. Tries to slide it away towards Yilmaz. But Liverpool, relentless here. McAllister to Salah. Now Szoboszlai. Alexis McAllister. Dominic Szoboszlai, a little bit more patience now in Liverpool's build-up. Wirtz, Frimpong, Szoboszlai. Curl towards the edge of the centre circle where Virgil van Dijk will receive it. Out to the left flank for Hugo Ekitike. Salah, not a conventional defender, trying to give him a little bit of space and give himself some space to make the challenge, and he'll do well in the end to deny Florian Wirtz. And Milos Kerkez, in fact, on that left-hand side. It will be a throw-in for Liverpool. Changes to scorelines across Europe this evening. Bayern Munich now 3 goals ahead of Atalanta. That makes it 9-1 on aggregate after that 6-1 win in Bergamo. Tottenham trying their best to overcome quite a deficit against Atletico Madrid. Randall Kolo Muani pegged one back. Alvarez, just after the break, squared it up for Atletico Madrid, but it was only 5 minutes later where Xavi Simons restored Tottenham's lead on the night. The aggregate now 4-6 against Spurs. So after a thumping win for Barcelona against Newcastle United earlier on this evening, 7-2 winners at Camp Nou. A tough night for English sides, apart from Arsenal in the Champions League last night. City dumped out of the competition by their old adversaries Real Madrid. And PSG put Chelsea to the sword, I should say, at Stamford Bridge by 3 goals to 0 after that 5-2 defeat at the Parc des Princes last week. Here on Merseyside, though, Liverpool, as things stand, cruising towards the quarter-finals, as that's given away to Kerkez. And now Ekitike operating as a left winger at the moment. Sane loses his footing. Ekitike for Kerkez. Pulled back into space in midfield. Yilmaz, he's upended by Konate. Galatasaray change with 15 minutes played, and Lucas Torreira is going to be sacrificed. You can understand why he's decided to make that change. The manager, Okan Buruk, in the place of the all-action defensive midfielder. Comes an attacking player. It's Yunus Akgun, the 25-year-old. 5 Super League goals this season, 8 assists. You can see they rate him They're having to do some defending here. Galatasaray, Szoboszlai from just outside the penalty area. Oh, Night Warrior's caught a few really nicely from that kind of range. That one's quite up to his usual standard, simple for Shakir. It's Dominic Szoboszlai's name that's being sung from the stands around Anfield. They just can't get it forward, Galatasaray. That one picked off by Konate. Now Van Dijk to Kerkez on the left-hand side of the defence. It's down that touchline for Ekitike. Starts to step in field. Past Salah across the face of the penalty area. Florian Wirtz couldn't hang on to it. Gravenberg could keep the ball moving. Here's Alexis McAllister. Szoboszlai. Wirtz, Salah, corner of the box, ominously, back to Salah, tries to curl one! Oh, brilliant from Mo Salah! It's number 50 in the Champions League for Mohamed Salah. A man whose future was in doubt earlier this season. Well, there's no doubt about that. It's vintage Salah. Worked it with Wirtz onto his left foot. Into the postage stamp in the top corner. And Liverpool can start to book their flights for Paris. He's onside in the build-up, Mohamed Salah. A delicate little touch from Florian Wirtz. Salah takes one touch to set himself. The next is to wrap that left boot round it. Almost uses Mario Lemina as a guide. It just brushes the fingertips of Shakir on the way in. Pushes it further into the side, netting the goalkeeper. But nothing he can do to deny the undeniable Mohamed Salah, who holds the Liverpool badge, raises one arm aloft and looks around this stadium that he's called home. Not many have won as much as Mohamed Salah as a Liverpool player. They said his star was on the wane. That might be so. He may have lost a yard of pace, a little bit of sparkle, but every now and then that glitter still shines from Mohamed Salah. And we've seen it yet again tonight on one of the biggest stages. It's Liverpool 4, Galatasaray 0. And the disappointment of last week now disappearing into the rear-view mirror. I know they can really start to enjoy this evening, just past the hour mark at Anfield. And Galatasaray just can't handle this pace. They set their stall out early, Liverpool, and just have not let it slip from the word go. He's the first African to score 50 goals in this competition, and he's done it with aplomb. Here he is again, finding Ekitike. Back to Salah. The pass didn't offer him much. Galatasaray all at sea, and that's given away to Kerkez. Ekitike, 30 yards from goal, might open up for him here. It's down the outside for Florian Wirtz. Low cross, the cutback, cut out by Jakobs. That goes behind for a corner kick. Oh, what a way to make amends for the first half penalty. Saved by Shakir. That was when there were nerves aplenty around Anfield, despite their dominance. He's going to take the set piece in front of the Kop. The Kop that once were frustrated by Salah in the previous months, now once again saluting him, serenading him, as they so often have done over the years. Salah's ball in towards the heart of the 6-yard box, where it's thumped away by Bardakci. Back into the mixer by Frimpong. Can't beat the first man on the edge of the penalty area, Noah Lang. Now here's Leroy Sané. Chops back inside. Bit more space on the left for Noah Lang. Sane. Almost ironic boos around Anfield for the fact that Galatasaray are enjoying a spell of possession. It's now 22 shots from Liverpool this evening. Lang down the left, trying to hold off Frimpong. Felt he had his heels clipped there. Referee disagrees. Jeremy Frimpong sportingly helps out his compatriot. Well, Liverpool with their first change, and it is a Frimpong who departs, only just recently back into first team duties after that long layoff. He's lasted 66 minutes tonight. Thought he'd forced an own goal earlier on, but it's been an all-action, energetic performance. Not at his best, Frimpong, but showing signs of getting there. He'll be replaced by Curtis Jones. I suspect that means Dominic Szoboszlai will drop into the back four. Jones slotting into midfield. It's Gravenberch. Well, looks like Curtis Jones might well play as a fullback. It's an old-fashioned long ball forward from Ryan Gravenberch. Ekitike's going to get there, and he bursts past Lemina. Ekitike to the penalty area. Pull back from Salah. Oh, it's off the crossbar. Wirtz. Jones. Szoboszlai, right-hand side of the box. Salah ghosting off his man. There's the pull back and saved by Shaqiri. Denies McAllister. And then Ekitike's effort inches over the bar. He's keeping a veneer of respect to the scoreline. Uğurcan Shaqiri. I suspect Salah was offside in the build-up. Shaqiri won't have known that. Another fine reaction save. That's the life of a goalkeeper for you. He's been brilliant this evening. He's had to be. But the scoreline still says Liverpool 4, Galatasaray 0. He'll go down as Galatasaray's man of the match tonight. Szoboszlai. McAllister. Van Dijk. McAllister on the half turn. Ekitike. McAllister. Salah. Ekitike. Right hand side is Curtis Jones. Well, they're defending with pretty much just two now, Liverpool. Konate and Van Dijk. The back line. Kerkez has operated as a winger, as a central midfielder, but very rarely as a full-back, as Gravenberch tries to weave his way through. Eventually it's Lemina that prods it away. Wirtz. McAllister lines one up. That's into the cop. Well, you wonder if it might have been different had Victor Osimhen gone down with that injury early in the first half. Liverpool are a wounded beast. They were there to be got at. Galatasaray have barely laid a finger on them. Here's Lang. Got his hands full with Jones. That's better from Sarah. Lang. Looking for Yilmaz. Konate plays it against Yilmaz. And Liverpool have the throw-in. It's the first thing that's gone against Dominic Szoboszlai. Nutmegged. Right. Jacobs. Quiet night for Alisson. Finds Virgil van Dijk. 25 attempts, 15 of those have been on target. That's quite a proportion. Ekitike. Might be through here. Shaqiri quick off his line. Konate. Jones. Konate back to Alisson. Ball aimed over the top by Liverpool's goalkeeper. Might amount to something as well. Galatasaray have got bodies around to break that up though. Salah just a niggly little foul on Jakobs. Bayern Munich have extended their lead. It's now 4-0 against Atalanta at the Allianz. It's made it 10-1 on aggregate for Bayern Munich, one of the favourites for the title. Still Tottenham 2, Atletico 1. As Yilmaz gets it into the penalty area, Jones will nod it behind for a Galatasaray corner. It's all going to the script so far. Bayern cruising through, despite well-documented issues in goal. Jonas Erbigen is starting tonight. Injuries to a few of their keepers over the past few weeks. At least Manuel Neuer. Lang's delivery. Punched away by Alisson. Whipped back in there. A poor one. There's Noah Lang. It's off Curtis Jones. Back to Lang. Onto his right foot this time. And the cross overhit and bounces off the turf behind for a goal kick. A change now for Galatasaray. Off goes their skipper Bardakci. They're going to send on Eden El Mali. It might be to do with games to come for Galatasaray more than anything else. It was all going a little bit too well for Arne Slot and Liverpool. There's Mo Salah. It's just gestured to the bench. He needs to come off. So they'll prepare the change, Liverpool, and off he goes, Mohamed Salah. A rousing reception for him on his way off the pitch. And Arne Slot turns to experience rather than youth. It's going to be Cody Gakpo to see out the game. A warm embrace between the two. Liverpool supporters will have 4 goals to relish when they get home this evening, to sit back and watch the highlights, but make Mohamed Salah's will be repeated over and over again. He's heading straight down the tunnel as well, not moving all that comfortably, Mo Salah. Set forward by Alisson. Wirtz with the flick on. Jakobs underneath it for Galatasaray. Will drop to Wirtz again. Here's Szoboszlai. Gakpo. Excuse me, Curtis Jones. And now Gravenberg. Wirtz. Jones. Szoboszlai. Play with it near the halfway line. Now Jones looks inside. Back to Virgil van Dijk. Canate. Looks like Tottenham's Champions League run is coming to an end. Atletico Madrid have pulled another one back. It's now 2 apiece. Hansko heading in from Alvarez's corner. Lang got himself into a pickle, tumbled and hit the advertising hoardings, and he seems to have hurt his hand in the process. There was a look of horror from one of the photographers off the pitch. Yeah, it looks like he's bleeding a little from his thumb, I think. Just tumbled over the touchline as Curtis Jones ushered him behind for a goal kick. Wanting a bit of patching up here, Noah Lang, if he is in fact able to continue. It's a bit of freak injury. We have to feel for Okan Buruk, just moving the little knobs around on his tactical board, trying to figure out how his side can restore some pride in this performance. Grimace on the face of Sarah as he stoops over his stricken teammate. Yilmaz is down on his knees, trying to help Noah Lang. The paramedics are on, in fact. Seemed to be quite a freak injury here. It was just about out of sight. Looks like it's something to do with the metalwork that's holding up those advertising hoardings off the pitch. He's distraught here, Noah Lang. Credit to Virgil van Dijk, his captain on the international stage, has wandered across to check on Lang. He sliced his hand open on the advertising hoarding. Looks like the substitute's going to have to come off. That action paused while the ringer receives a bit of attention, not just from the Galatasaray medical team, but I think Liverpool's physio and the paramedics and the local medical services are out there. What was an awkward night has become one of those famous Anfield European evenings. Started 25 minutes in, Dominic Szoboszlai's opener, pulled back from a corner. And Liverpool came steaming out of the blocks at the start of the second half. Ekitike prodding home a Salah cutback. Moments later, Ryan Gravenberch, an awkward connection, pushed into his path after Wirtz was denied. And then the cherry on top, a piece of brilliance from Mohamed Salah. Something we've seen time and time again from just outside the penalty area. Whipped in, left-footed. Saw the best of Mohamed Salah in the second half. Tottenham chasing the game against Atletico Madrid, 2 apiece at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Aggregate lead of 3 goals for Atletico Madrid. And Bayern Munich had already booked their place virtually to their 6-1 win and Bergamo, and they've made it 10-1 on aggregate this evening with a 4-goal lead at the Allianz Stadium. Here at Anfield, play is delayed. The injury to Noah Lang looks to be something quite concerning. Those metal advertising hoardings, it would have been where the Galatasaray fans were based if they weren't banned from attending this evening. Confirmation that Lang will take no further part. On comes Mauro Icardi, the Italian, on in his place. Lang was a half-time substitute himself. It's a nightmare. And those Galatasaray fans that have made their way in, a handful just scattered in the main stand, we believe. Just starting to make their way out of the ground, and you could forgive them that. A difficult evening. Came here with such hope of causing an upset, and the delay goes on. A night where memories will be made, families come together. It's that mythical European evening, those nights under the lights. They talk about them, don't they, here on Merseyside. We are back underway finally. We do hope Noah Lang recovers from what seems to be quite a horrible injury. Here's Ekitike. From what we can tell, he just seems to have sliced his finger open on the metal at the end of that ground, the end of the ground. A freak injury. And a corner for Liverpool here in front of the Kop. Szoboszlai's ball right into the heart of things. Shakir came a long way. He pushed onto Ibrahim Konate and will roll behind for a goal kick. We'll have a healthy whack of added time when we get to that point, but we're into the last 10 minutes of the 90. Szoboszlai wins a throw-in. For El Mali, Lamina, Yilmaz, heavy touch, he got away from him. Now Curtis Jones, that's good work from the England international. Gravenberg to Jones. It's back to Alisson, who races to meet it, clears it first time. Gakpo lurking underneath it. Singo with the header away. Well, El Mali gets it clear into the Liverpool half, where Konate will meet it. He's flown under the radar a little bit, Curtis Jones, this season. And you wonder whether he will be on the plane to the United States, Mexico and Canada in Thomas Tuchel's England side. Here's Kerkesh just outside the penalty area, tried to stab it through to Ekitike. Singo missed his clearance, but El Mali will get it away. Gravenberg, Jones, Wirtz. Back to Curtis Jones. Florian Wirtz. Back to Alisson. And now Van Dijk. Down the left-hand side, taken down tidily by Cody Gakpo. Ekitike is 25 yards from goal. Now Florian Wirtz lurking edge of the penalty area. Back to Ekitike on the edge of the D. Szoboszlai was going to try and let it run for Ekitike to run onto his own pass. There's Wirtz down the outside. Kerkez. Singo missed it at the front post, and it's just ricocheted off Cody Gakpo. Didn't know much about it. And ends up in Shakir's gloves. None of Liverpool's last 30 Champions League fixtures have finished in a draw. 21 wins, 9 defeats. It's about to tick to 31 this evening. Here's Gakpo. Florian Wirtz. Ekitike. Liverpool trying to add to their 4 goals this evening. basically camped out inside the Galatasaray half for the overwhelming majority of not just this half but the game. Here's Gravenberch. It's against Salah for another Liverpool throw on the left-hand side. A couple of changes being prepared by Liverpool and a chance for the teenagers. Looks like Rio Ungamoa is about to come on. I think Nalo as well. No, Trainioni it is who's going to be coming on alongside Federico Chiesa. A trio of substitutes. Ekitike, oh, half turn. It was a sharp chance, but one he almost made the most of. Pivoted on it. It's fading away from goal, but not by much. With a rivals, Mohamed Salah's in the running for the most spectacular this evening. Shakir. McAllister wins it back. Through to Ekitike. Flag stays down. Szoboszlai! Brilliant challenge. It's El Mali. Not sure he knew he was there. Dominic Szoboszlai just wraps a leg round and gets in the way. Aaron El Mali. Ekitike was onside in the build-up. There was a little pocket of space for Dominic Szoboszlai. El Mali took a risk and took it away from Dominic Szoboszlai. Here come the changes. And a rousing round of applause for Hugo Ekitike on the score sheet again this evening. He'll be replaced by Federico Chiesa, the Italian. It was a tap-in for Ekitike. And at the time he scored it, Liverpool might have been concerned that Galatasaray could get back into the game. Certainly not now. Florian Wirtz as well will drift off, and young Trainioni, the young midfielder, is about to come on as he jogs onto the pitch. And Liverpool's latest, greatest academy graduate, Rio Ungamoa, who's already written his name into the history books this season, comes on to replace Ryan Gravenberch. Into the penalty area. Shakir came to meet it. He's home and dry now. McAllister with a tap-in on the line. It's going to be chalked off for a foul on the goalkeeper. Shakir jumped with Virgil van Dijk, who seemed to get there first. He's got a lot of protection here, Shakir, from the referee. Almost pushes it onto Virgil van Dijk's head, and it drops so kindly for Alexis McAllister. I don't think there's any foul there for me. Quickly chalked off by the referee. A wry smile from Alexis McAllister. He doesn't score many. And he won't be on the score sheet tonight either. That one's been checked and cleared by Marco Di Bello, the video assistant referee. The 90 minutes gone. And 6 minutes added on. Tottenham have edged in front again. Down in London. Faint hope maybe. Xavi Simons from the penalty spot. They're into 5 minutes of added time. 2.5 of it gone. They've reduced the aggregate deficit to 2 goals. And Atalanta have got on the score sheet against Bayern Munich. They knew their hopes of progressing through to the quarter-finals were all but ended after the demolition in Bergamo. But Bayern Munich denied that clean sheet. Jonas Ervig, I'm sure, will be frustrated standing in for Manuel Neuer this evening. Icardi trying to get in amongst it. It's Jones. For Chiesa. Throw in for Liverpool in front of their manager Arne Slot. Dominic Szoboszlai has the ball in his hands. A tough task tonight. The stand-in referee Pavel Rashkovsky, I'm not sure he expected to be refereeing a game. Simon Marciniak pulling up with an injury in the warm-up. A couple of head-scratching moments in the first half, but he's kept good control of this game in the end. It's a foul on Singo by McAllister in the Galatasaray left-back position. And Shakir is going to take the free kick. Singo forward as an auxiliary attacker. Here's Ngumoa, finds Szoboszlai in space. Drags his shot wide. Gakpo kicks out in frustration. It was well placed there, Cody Gakpo. He's in offside position, in fact, and not sure why he's that frustrated. Looking for Riccardi. Play for the goal kick. Jones. Left-hand side, here's Ngumoa. Nioni from midfield. Szoboszlai. Shot from Chiesa, charged down by Salah. Back out to Rio Ngumoa on the left-hand side. Galatasaray get bodies in the way. Well, Liverpool know that the game is done now, the game is won. Ngumoa, step overs in the penalty area, finds McAllister, deflection, carries it into Shakir's hands. Looking for a fifth, Ngumoa